Concept of the everything bubble is quite the scary prospect, to see all of our investments, not just gold and silver, pop and go away. I do think there is a lot of inflated value in this world right now, not just in gold and silver premiums, but also the greater world of stocks and shares and currency markets. So how does that relate to gold and silver? And are we going to see a popping of potential value in coins like premiums on Eagles, or on things like special releases from the Royal Mint and many others? Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Now today I want to talk about bubbles, the everything bubble. Does it also include gold and silver? Are gold and silver in a little bit of a bubble right now, with premiums on bullion items like Eagles, or modern coins like the wondrous sovereign set that we're going to unbox here and have a look at today? There are a whole host of different economic bubbles that are happening right now in the world, and no more so than stocks and share markets. And I've said for a while that it feels like things are a lot higher than perhaps they could or should be. It's just kind of common sense in my mind that we've got this post-pandemic world, and yet for most markets in the world, we're actually higher than where we were before all of the massive collapses of economies in the lockdowns of 2020. So it does strike me as a little bit odd that we are still kind of in this, in this market of bubbles, and maybe things are inflated above their value. And that worries me a little bit. But gold and silver also share a little bit of that burden, in my opinion. Might be different to other people's opinion, and it's important for you to remember that I am just sharing opinion here, not financial advice, so please do bear that in mind. Let me know your thoughts as we go throughout the video though down in the comment section, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the content that we're making. So silver and gold in a bubble. I do think that there is this inflated bubble going on right now for silver and gold, and especially for things like US Eagles right now. I think there's a premium bubble. And what I mean by that is that I think that the premiums on these are inflated higher than they should be, and people are still happy to pay those premiums, but I don't think that they should be happy to pay them, because I do think at some point those bubbles will pop. We've seen it happen so many times. It's the same with any kind of financial product or market. Eventually products do kind of revert back down, and you get these these bubbles popping and the market settling and finding their equal. A couple of years ago you could buy American silver Eagles for only a couple of dollars over spot price. Now it's $10, $12, $13, $15 sometimes or more. So that is not normal, and that I think will change. Maybe it won't though. Maybe we'll have a situation where these premiums will stick around. Maybe that's the new norm that we should all get to look at for silver. But there are, I think, other bubbles to talk about than just premiums on bullion coins like this. And that's one of the reasons I've got this lovely sovereign set here underneath these Eagles. So it's no secret that the Royal Mint has been pumping out quite the number of coins over the last 6 months. Well, to be quite frank, last couple of years. But the last sort of 6 months or so has been quite the exciting time for myself and Mrs. Backyard Bullion as well, because we've seen quite a lot of cool coin sets that actually really are very nice, very good, and I think have a lot of potential for the future. But is that potential a bubble? Are we actually kind of kidding ourselves as community members, as people who are looking to get in on what is essentially very high premium gold and silver? Are we actually looking at these in the right way? Is this value that's been put to these coins going to survive? Now, there's arguments to be had both sides, and I'm going to try and present a little bit of both of those for my reasoning for these types of coins today. So the first thing I will say is that there has been a shift. I think there's a fundamental paradigm shift in the world of collecting since the pandemic. It's been growing, in fact, I think over the last few years, but I think that right now we are seeing this big shift towards collecting things and those collections holding value. Now, it's no new thing. We've seen Lego sets do exceptionally well over longer periods of time. Star Wars collectibles from the 70s and 80s, be worth thousands and thousands of dollars and pounds. It's not uncommon for collectibles to start seeing those returns, but it's happening more, and it's being, you've just got to look at things like the expansion of value on trading cards, not just the, like for example, Magic the Gathering, not just the original Alpha and Beta Black Lotus or hugely valuable other cards, but new modern sets, even 2 years old, are appreciating exceptionally well. This idea that you can't get hold of things that are no longer available directly from retailers, I think is quite interesting, and that's one of the things that a lot of people attribute value to, the ease and ability for somebody out there in this world to get what they want. And with the raw mints products like the Sovereign sets, they are selling out quick from the mint directly. I remember a few years ago we had sets, annual sets that would come out, or the Sovereign for the particular year, or even sort of things like the Britannias, and they would not sell kind of instantly, they would not sell immediately, and they'd often be available for months, if not sometimes into the next year for customers. And I would always measure those kind of releases on their own success. So if a set wasn't available within a couple of weeks, it would be a very good one. Now it seems that all sets from the Royal Mint are measured on how fast they sell, and if they don't sell within 20 minutes of release at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, then they're a flop. And that's, I think, not necessarily true, because even with sets like the Tudor Beasts, you see that some of them are still in stock right now, but I do think in 5 years' time those products will have vastly improved. By the way, this is an interesting little addition to Royal Mint packaging right now. Change is possible. So this is to protect the coins from flipping out their capsules. So we have affected change with the Royal Mint, which is fantastic. And here's the moment you've all been waiting for. I've been teasing you with the revealing of the actual gold within the set. Look at that, beautiful. And I think that's what separates, sort of things like this from, the bubble on premiums on Eagles. So this stuff here has much of a different market than the proof coins. So with Eagles, you'll have millions, literally millions of people out there in this world that will be willing to buy US Eagles. Some people will be willing to buy them at $10 over spot. Some people will be willing to only buy them at $5 over spot. When enough people and buying power takes their, voice to the shop, so to speak, the premiums on this stuff will come down. The pop of that bubble will happen, and the people who bought with $10, $15 premiums on them will be kind of stuck with them, left there with this big premium. However, with the Sovereign sets and with other proof coins from mints around the world, not just the Royal Mint, you will find that there will be this slower kind of tick down potentially of value, and if not, then it will go up over time, because the ability, the ease of getting hold of these will be significantly lower. I think there's a lot of people like myself who are going to be holding and investing in these coins for quite possibly decades, and that will be a really interesting kind of look at how they perform over time as collectibles. And I do think stuff like this Sovereign, which is unique, and you've only got to look at the history of other Sovereigns that are different to your regular George and the Dragon, they do perform exceptionally well. And I think that's a bubble which potentially will, stand the test of time, basically. Now, one of the bubbles which I do think has started to pop for modern coin collectibles like this is the instant flipper market. Or at least it's popping. There's always going to be coin flippers, which is a sad fact of our kind of community. And, I've flipped coins in the past. I've bought coins and sold them within a couple of weeks of owning them. But I don't do that anymore for a few reasons. First, I really have changed my mentality on the collection side of things. And I do think that collector's mantra has got some legs going forward into the future. But I also think that there's really not a great deal of point, because, you can make a little bit of a profit, but it's just fiat currency. It's just money that's going to sit there and not really do anything else. So it's kind of an interesting concept to really, flip super hard, and people don't like it. It really sits unwell with people, especially on community forums like the Silver Forum. If I've seen a few other people do it, and that's fine. They do it. They like to do it. Whatever. But for me, I just don't really want to be seen as I got lucky in the queue, so you can pay me extra money for that queue spot. Basically, that's not what I want to be. This coin, I think, has far more potential value for that in the future. Coin flippers, I get it. You're going to make profit on them, and that's fine. I'm not begrudging anybody who makes profit on coins. At the end of the day, I want to make profit on coins when I get to the other end of my ownership of them. But my sort of, and I think my sentiment is shared by a lot of people. My long-term outlook, my collection outlook on these has differed, I think, from a lot of these coin flippers, and I think that's what separates us. And I think that's what's going to protect, I think, the sort of enhanced value of coins like this going forwards. Now, that's by no means a kind of guarantee that anything that we we have and buy and show on this channel will be a surefire success. I've bought coins and they've been flops. I've bought coins and they've been loss leaders. People, not lost leaders, that's the wrong phrase, but I've lost money on coins plenty of times before, but there are plenty of coins that I've earned money on before as well. And I do think that there is this potential for, holding for a long period of time. And even with coins like this, paying, I think I paid an average, it would be an average of about £2,300 an ounce. So, who knows where gold and silver will be in 25 years' time. It could very well be that I get the money back. And yeah, you'd say you'd do better if you bought bullion. But I like having the diversity. I like the collection side of things. I'm investing in a collectible, and I do think that collectible will hold value over time. So that bubble is a factor, but I don't think it's one that is likely to burst on these coins. A lot of people think that these modern coins are just a little bit of a fad, a little bit of a bubble from places like the Royal Mint, but I do think that they've got legs. I think that you've got to look at the 1989 sovereign, for example. I think that there are potential coins that will do exceptionally well over a longer period of time. But there are a lot of proof coins that don't. So it is really interesting, that whole market. And I will be doing a video on kind of proof coins. I started my series, the sort of complete guide to investing and stacking silver and gold, and I will be at some point, there's going to be like 20 parts to that video, but I will be at some point talking about proof coin strategies and things like that, so lots to enjoy along the way. But I am, as a kind of stacker, stacker, investor, collector, looking at the markets and thinking, there is this kind of I think there is an inflated bubble for bullion grade silver at the moment, and it's actually been coming down a little bit over time. You look back to February last year, when the silver squeeze movement, the hype of that came up, and it was quite interesting to see people's reactions to that. Ooh, I've just noticed that there's a really nice embossed logo on the back of that felt. Very pretty. But that bubble, I think, has kind of come down quite significantly, and those premiums are coming down from dealers. But at the same time, there is this, this still premium element to bullion grade coins, which I think will pop more violently over time. But rather interestingly, and I do want this to be the kind of concluding part of my video, when you compare it with the other bubbles out there that could potentially pop, these bubbles are minuscule in comparison. I think that we've seen this week with the tensions in Ukraine, shall we call it, markets being incredibly scared, and potential increases in interest rates in the US as well, really showing their teeth for the stocks and shares markets. And you just got to look at the huge losses that, I have stocks and shares too, and I would recommend to everybody in this world to have a diverse portfolio and include stocks and shares over time. But of course, weathering periods when you have big losses like this is important, and it's important to talk about as well, because you'll see so many people going and talking about their wonderful gains that they've made on gold and silver. But it's not always puppy dogs and roses, as they say. So bubbles for gold and silver, yes, there are some there. I think some will stand tests of time better than others. I think proof coins like these will. But I also understand that there is an element of sort of inflated value on these coins because of coin flippers and because of the rush to the market for them. That's coming down a little bit. You've seen it in the kind of Great Engravers series with the Gothic crowns being, not instant 10 times their money flippers, which people now is the benchmark to measure the success of a coin release. Does it triple my money within 10 minutes? Does it quintuple my money in half an hour? It's just very strange concepts for people, I think, to have. So that's, I think, my thoughts on the topic for now. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions as well, so please feel free to share those down in the comment section below. And if you have enjoyed this video and these coins, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button and share this around through your social media. Otherwise, that is it from me. A big thank you to you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.